Before we start with our next group of speakers, I would like to just open the floor to see if anybody has any questions for Len, Sean or James. And I think there's a roving mic. If you could just state your name and which organisation you represent when you ask your question, please.
My name is Alex Abuaji. I'm the CEO of Consolidated Bauxite Alumina and Aluminium Consultancy. My question was for both the minister, but he's left, but also for industry leaders. I'm from Ghana, and I traveled in Ghana in 2019. And I'm really, it's really heartwarming to hear some of the presentations and what some of the industries are doing in the local communities, trying to provide water and schools and medical systems for the communities. But traveling in Ghana in 2019, one could see the legacy of small-scale gold mining in the country, very, very detrimental to the environment, and the pollution in the waterways in the country. So I guess my question was more for both the industry leaders and for the government to, I guess, tell us what is being done to ensure that this kind of legacy is not left by the industries in the country. Thank you.
Thanks very much for the question. And you're very sharp. It is a huge issue now, especially in our region, the small-scale miners, we call it artisanal miners. But the perspective we took to look at them is not we view them as an issue, but somehow these people being there for 15 years, and some of the ancestors being there doing an artisanal mining for their livelihood for 100 years. So we work with them, and we currently making together with them a plan. We will find them a place for them to do not galamsey mining, but legal mining, for them to continue their livelihood, because that's what they do. And we are not in the position just taking what they have from them, but we need to find a livelihood for them instead. But at the same time, we are able to offer in the job opportunities for many of them to working for us, and that's part of our commitment to the local community. We are committed to the local content, and also we want to change people's life, not throwing just give them the monetary give back, but we want to grow them with the skills and education. At the same time, we can bring them into a more advanced stage of the industry. So they probably gonna continue their livelihood with a place we select for them to continue the livelihood. But at the same time, we start to building momentum for them to changing or transform themselves to fit in a more, like you mentioned, that's more ecological, more sustainable style of livelihood instead of small-scale mining. Maybe James, you have more to add.
Sure, well said, Sean. So small-scale mining, or let's call it the galamsey or illegal mining, is not unique to Ghana, and it's not just an issue for government, it's an issue for the community. And a lot of the people in illegal miners are just the local community looking to, somewhat frustrated by their inability to secure employment because the mine hasn't been developed yet. But I can say, certainly in our circumstance, illegal mining or small-scale mining can be split into two separate categories. one is the local community, the local people that are out there to earn a few dollars and feed their family. And I think from all our perspectives, you know, their presence is, I wouldn't say encouraged, but you know, people need to earn a living. It's good for the community. They should be doing that. Once the mine gets built, I'm sure there's employment that's going to be created for those people, but they have to earn a living and feed themselves during that period. We've always had a smattering of those sort of people on our premises, and we haven't had an issue. Where the issue comes in is where criminal gangs are formed to bring in excavators and large machinery to take up a different scale. And what we've found, particularly on unlicensed position, is the Ghanaian government's been excellent in responding to that. And we had machinery turn up, and the Ghanaian government flew in helicopters and took them out. I mean, not by shooting them, by moving them on. You know, they don't shoot people, but you know, they respond to criminal gangs. You know, they are aware that criminal gangs are out there. There are criminal gangs in Australia, so it is a matter of the government responding to those and making sure that they're addressing the issues from the criminal gangs, and they're not catching up the local community that is in those same sort of efforts. So you know, it's a hard issue to solve. But I think in Ghana, from our perspective, they've done incredibly well.
Len, did you want to respond?
Yes. Now, although we're not directly impacted by small-scale or large-scale artisanal mining around our lithium projects, it's different geology. I have travelled a lot through Africa and seen the effects of artisanal mining. Even driving to our project site on the Cape Coast, you cross some rivers that you can see have changed colour over the years that I've been travelling those roads. But seeing, as James mentioned previously, the different types of artisanal mining. So I've seen families, mothers with children doing artisanal mining, whether that was in Ivory Coast or Guinea or Liberia or Chad even. So that's their livelihood and has been for hundreds of years potentially, and is an important part of the community where they live to support their families. And I know that in Ghana and other countries, in particular Ivory Coast, the governments have implemented within the governments systems to train and help empower those artisanal miners to mine more sustainably, whether that's through how they go through that panning process, whether or not, or trying to remove the use of mercury and other systems and tools that can help minimize or reduce that impact. But it is the issue is around where you see the larger scale equipment coming in, which has really gone beyond artisanal mining to semi-industrial scale mining, which is what's causing a lot of the damage, and in particular sediment load into rivers, which is what's killing fish and doing all the other damage downstream. And that's where governments are getting more actively involved, whether it's forcibly removing, but it's a challenging process and will take time. But I'm hopeful that, you know, in community engagement and knowledge and learning that will hopefully reduce over time and move more to a controlled or larger scale mining operations where you have systems and processes in place to manage those impacts.
Great, thanks, Len. Any other questions?
Hello, good morning, and thank you very much for the comprehensive presentations. My name is Kandu Belts from Belts Mining Limited. My question goes specifically to Shen. So you talked about the road construction with 70% local content and 100% Ghanaian. Could you please explain what the difference is?
Thanks for the question. Lovely to explain. Love to explain this. So when we got to Ghana, we learned two terms. One is local and another is local. So local means Ghanaian, and local means the associated with the community. So just a little story. When we started building the site, and we got a bit of complaint from the local community. They came to us and said, you're not using, you're not embedded any local content. So we said, why do you say that? We 100% of the laborers were coming from Ghana. So he said, no, we don't. I'm not talking about Ghana. I'm talking about my village or my community. So that is something we start building in our mind. That's building the sense that we are not only taking care of meeting the regulatory requirements. We actually take care of the needs of the local people. So when we build up the stats in our reporting, internal reports, we start to put in the parameters as a line beside the local content. We call it local content. So we want to make it as a part of our performance matrix as well. So I hope that answers your question.
It was a good explanation. Thank you. I had the same question. Look, we might call it a stop there because we're just running a bit short of time. So I'd just like everybody to put their hands together again for Len, James and Sean.